The Bitchspot Report. Welcome to the Bitchspot Report, the conservative atheist podcast that's not afraid to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Every week, your hosts, Cephas and Mike, will take on the latest religious and political news and examine the world around us from a distinctly conservative and skeptical perspective. Join us now for this episode of the Bitchspot Report. Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of the Bitchspot Report, the conservative atheist podcast that isn't afraid to laugh at the war on Christmas. This week, it's an all-Christmas show where we celebrate the season by laughing at the religious. What could be better?
It doesn't get any better than this.
All right.
And we got a fresh crop, too, so it's just so hilarious.
It should be good. I want to remind everybody once again, we do have our New Year's show next week, and we still haven't gotten any resolutions. Come on, people. Let's not wait until the very last minute. Get them in. The deadline is the 30th, because that's when we're recording our show. So make sure you get those in if you want to be on the show. So, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Why are people so damn fucking stupid at Christmas? I mean, people get just idiotic at Christmas. People can't drive. People can't think. People can't do anything.
I wish I knew. I've been through 51 of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to go out yesterday for, nothing related to Christmas, but we actually had to go to a store. And people are like parking and leaving their cars in the middle of aisles. They're just getting out and walking away. It's like, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Seriously, where did your brain go?
I hate doing anything, outside of the house over these few days because they get nuts. They don't seem to understand traffic signals.
Yeah.
And anywhere near the malls. Oh, actually we just have the one now, but, you try to drive through those parking lots. I mean, it's like they check their brains out. They leave them at home and I don't know. It's maddening. If you have to do anything for real, you got to go to the grocery store to buy stuff. I mean, yesterday I stocked up, I'm got 2 weeks vacation, so I stocked up on all sorts of stuff for the grill and I got junk food and all that. I am set for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be living high off the hog and I'm loading my truck up and, actually it's kind of a weird story, but, I noticed that my truck got hit. And I'm like, okay, did this happen here in the parking lot or did my brother, he's been borrowing my truck, while I'm out of town, or did he do that? So I was trying to get a hold of him to see what, if it happened to him. And as I'm doing that and I'm unloading the truck and trying to get a hold of him, cars are backing up wanting my spot because I just happen to be in like the second spot closest to the door. And, I'm sitting there and I'm unloading and trying to get a hold of him and I finally get a hold of him and he told me, yeah, he's not used to driving a pickup truck. So he was the one who had the smash up and I go, oh, okay. So, and there was this one guy, he was just dead set on getting that spot and he wasn't going to budge and, wondering if I pissed him off, which good for him, I have no problem, because usually in this particular parking lot, these people do all sorts of stuff. They happily they'll dart right out in front of you, not even thinking that, hey, there might be people coming from the other direction,
Oh yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
So, but yeah, it was like 3 or 4 cars lining up and it's like, okay, deal with it. Hey, I've had to get stuck behind someone who's just so dead set on that first parking spot. And actually it was a pretty full lot. So, I don't blame them, but it was just so funny. And I'm kind of chuckling, okay, I'm fucking someone else up for a change instead of me getting fucked with,
Yeah, but you usually get people going the wrong way down the aisles. You got people who are just parking, and I've seen people who will pull their car in, instead of pulling into the space, I've seen people who will pull in sideways and cover 3 spaces.
Oh yeah.
And those are people I'm just sitting there going, if I was an asshole, I'd be keying the shit out of your car right now. But I'm too nice and I won't do that. But fuck it, I should. I've seen that a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. And see, we don't do any of that stuff. We don't go to malls over Christmas. Starting the day after Thanksgiving, we do not leave the goddamn house to go to any store other than the grocery store. We just don't do it. All of our shopping is done by then. We do 100% online. I don't buy anything at any local store. Fuck you people. I buy there enough the rest of the year. I do not touch a store, a mall, anything like that over Christmas because it's just insane. The stupid people are out in force.
Right.
But even today I was thinking, because first thing this morning I woke up, first day, vacation, all that stuff. It's really great. Some idiot has an accident right in front of the house, which happens about once a month anyway because people are just stupid. But somebody rolled over into my yard again. So there was sirens going by and all this crazy stuff. I'm going, oh crap, what happens if we're doing this while we're recording the podcast? And then like an hour later, I was going, oh crap, what happens? Cause Mondays, my gardeners come. What happens if we're recording when they show up? Well, luckily they showed up earlier, but otherwise it would be like right outside the windows, lawnmowers and all weed whackers and all that crap. It's like, oh shit. So I was just kind of worried going, we may have a lot of noise in this podcast. Because we don't usually do this on Mondays. We usually do this on Wednesdays when nothing is really going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm here at home, so I've got a much better, internet connection. And, just only thing I'm worried about is my furnace kicking on and off. Cause it's like 10 degrees outside and I think it's dropping.
Oh no, it's nice here. It's in the high 70s, just kind of kicking back.
You suck.
Well,
Yeah, I wish I had I missed those days in California. I mean, that was the nice thing. Winter, even though it was cold, I mean, it was a decent cold. I mean, it wasn't not like here, it's like a humid cold and it just cuts right through me. I can do 0 degrees in Bakersfield, California. That's not a problem for me.
Yeah, we don't see 0 degrees out here. The coldest it's been so far during the day is maybe low 60s. Maybe the high 50s. I mean, at night it's gotten down into the 30s, but who cares about it at night?
Right.
But yeah, it's really nice out here.
I mean, I got a lot of snow, so at least it's a white Christmas.
Snow? What's snow?
You know what? This is like I think this is the first time though in a long time we've had snow before Christmas. So, it's been pretty brown Christmases up to now, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, last time we had snow at my house, 2005 or 2006, something like that. But I can go look out my window at snow up in the mountains. I can be there in 20 minutes. If I want snow, I can go to snow.
Yeah.
I just don't want it outside my door, and people drive bad enough as it is to then putting them in the snow. And
yeah,
it's bad enough in the rain. Oh my God, water's falling from the sky. What do we do?
Don't even get me started. I mean, I mean, when it's raining, and actually I like to drive fast in the rain because one, if I do get pulled over, a cop has to get soaked, to write me a ticket. But, because it really isn't, when it's raining, it's not bad. At one time I had a Mustang GT and, it had the low profile tires. That car did not do well. You put any water on the road. Yeah, I got into trouble with that. But look, with my truck, I mean, it's not a big deal. But people literally, they freak out. There's water on the road. They think they gotta drive 20 miles under the speed limit, and I don't know.
Yeah, they don't drive under the speed limit here. They go just as fast as they do, and then they slide through intersections, and they don't know how to brake, and they rear end people, and these people don't understand that you have to drive differently in the rain, or in the snow, or whatever. I mean, every time I go up to the snow, and I'm just below, like, some of the best skiing around, so it's like I get to go up there and do whatever I want to do whenever I want to. But people up there, they're sliding down hills, and they're trying to drive around in the snow without chains, and I mean, they're just being stupid.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Here in Illinois, I think it's actually illegal to use chains. But then again, we don't have sheer cliffs and stuff like that, and 30-degree, 40-degree grades going up mountains. So
yeah, we do.
Yeah. And I know that when I was in Yosemite, I mean, I saw the signs, chains required above so much elevation, stuff like that. So it's like, I can dig that, but it is funny how, some of these people, they just they lose their marbles. I mean, I can drive a normal speed. It's just, I'm usually braking a little earlier and I try to maintain a decent interval, behind the car in front of me, but there's always that someone, there's just enough room for me to get in there, zip in front. So now I have to brake because one, he's not doing the same speed. He's going slower than me. So I'm hitting the brake and, what he does is just fucks up everyone behind him, and he doesn't even realize it.
Oh, they don't care. They don't care at all.
I know with the truck drivers, I mean, doing that in front of a truck, that's suicide. I mean, if that driver is not on his game, you're gone, But these people just insist on darting in front of, semis thinking that they can break the same that they can.
Like I said, these people, there's something about Christmas that just makes people stupid. And maybe that explains all the stories we're going to do today.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just, that we've got to find that right gift, and, it's got to be over here at this store, or maybe I'll go downtown, whatever, the specialty store, whatever it is, and we're more interested in buying than paying attention.
Well, it's not only that, but you got to remember people who are going to Walmart and stabbing each other and shooting each other over crap. It's like, come on, guys. There's something wrong with you. People stop giving a crap about anybody around them, or even thinking about anybody around them around Christmas. You're going to run people over in parking lots. You're going to push them out of the way to get whatever you want in the store. All this stuff. Fuck these people. Really.
Really, really.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get some news done?
Let's get some news done.
And now the news.
It's the December debate. Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays? Which do you say? And why? A Valley woman says she got assaulted for choosing one. ABC 15's Ryan Cummings is live in the newsroom with more on how things really got heated, Ryan, during the holidays. This woman was simply ringing a bell.
Katie, she was working for the Salvation Army at one of their red kettles trying to get donations when she says she apparently said the wrong thing at the wrong time.
I was ringing the bell saying happy holidays, happy holidays.
Christina Vindiola was outside this Walmart on 91st Avenue in Thomas a couple of days ago when those words struck the wrong chord.
The lady looked at me. I thought she was going to come and put money in the candle. She came up to me and she said, "Do you believe in God?"
Happy Holidays quickly turned into a war on words.
She said, "You're supposed to say Merry Christmas," and that's when she hit me.
Christina says the woman swung at her and hit her arm, then went inside the store. She told a manager who called police. Shoppers we spoke with today understand how some people can get offended.
I've finally gotten used to Happy Holidays, and it's a happy holiday or a Merry Christmas. I'm good with either one.
I say Merry Christmas to most people at work when I'm sending emails, and to be politically correct, I do the Happy Holidays only because we're supposed to.
I'm a Christian, and that is what it means to me. It's a celebration of Christ's birth. So
somebody came up to you and said Happy Holidays.
I'm fine with it.
But apparently not everyone is, and Christina plans to take legal action because of it.
She should have just been happy. I just said Happy Holidays. But I got hit for not saying Merry Christmas.
In Phoenix, Arizona, a Salvation Army bell ringer got hit by a Christian woman who was upset that she had said Happy Holidays to her. Christina Vindolia said the woman approached her, asked if she believed in God, and then hit her in the arm for not saying Merry Christmas. Vindolia informed the manager at the Walmart she was working outside, and the manager called the police. Authorities looked at the surveillance video but did not pursue an assault charge against the woman. Fuck Christians.
Don't they have better things to do? Happy Holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Merry whatever. I mean, and we got stories coming up on this subject, but, I don't want to spill too much on that, but, it's like, deal with it. That self-centeredness, my religion trumps everything type of, attitude. And, if you don't hear Merry Christmas, is that enough to provoke violence? I mean, could have been easily just said, I don't agree with that. I'm used to saying Merry Christmas. So it's like, it's not that I'm trying to be politically, incorrect or, whatever. It's just the way I've always said it. So, if I say Merry Christmas and the person comes back, Happy Holidays, it's no big deal to me. And I'm hoping it's not a big deal to them, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you know what? That's the way it is. And I don't really care. I mean, call it what you want, if that's your thing, and deal with it. But to actually lash out, hit somebody, if you have to resort to violence, it means you've basically lost your argument. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. And
of course, but there is no argument for these people. These people their whole point in life is to push their religion on everybody else and fuck the world if it doesn't go along. There's no right to assault people because they don't say the right words. And I hate the fucking Salvation Army anyway. I will never give a goddamn penny to them ever. And it's a good thing, as far as I'm concerned, that they're reporting that their giving this year is down 13%. Fuck the Salvation Army. They're a horrible, awful charity that forces religion on the most vulnerable people in society at a time when they are the most vulnerable. You know, they refuse to help you unless they play along with your religious beliefs. Fuck the Salvation Army.
Right.
But still, that does not give anybody the right to assault somebody, ringing a bell and wanting you to throw money in your kettle. If they say something you don't like, don't donate. It's easy. Don't give them money. Tell them why you're not giving them money. Okay, but hitting them?
Yeah, exactly. It's one of these deal with it moments. You know, you suck it up. The world's not coming to an end because somebody said happy holidays. I mean, we really don't know who this person is who assaulted her, but, you know, definitely this person's disturbed somehow, and definitely too Christian, and especially, I mean, again, with the Salvation Army, and as religious as they are, it's no love lost with the Salvation Army and with what they've done and their, you know, the way they are. It's still no reason to punch somebody. I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense. I don't care what you say, what you do. I had a ex-sister-in-law who was, I think she, as a joke, sent me Kwanzaa gifts. You know, it's like, okay, I really hope you're being funny, but this is funny, you know, type of thing. So I don't care what you call the holiday. But it's like I said, you just don't resort to violence or just dumb fuckery when it comes to, you know, to the situation.
Yeah, well, luckily, even though the police didn't arrest this bitch, the bell ringer is planning on filing civil charges for assault, and I entirely support that. Sue the shit out of as many stupid fucktard Christians as you can.
You won't see me complaining.
All right, so why don't you go ahead and do your first story?
This is from the Washington Post, Religion. A poll. Christmas is a commercial holiday, not a sacred holy day for many. 9 in 10 Americans will celebrate Christmas this year, but a new poll shows that the increasing numbers see the holiday as more tinsel than gospel truth. This year more than ever, Americans prefer that stores and businesses welcome them with the more generic happy holidays or season's greetings than Merry Christmas, according to a survey released Tuesday, December 17th by the Public Religion Research Institute in partnership with Religious News Service. For 1 in 4 American adults, 26%, December 25th is simply a cultural holiday, not a religious holy day. And here we go. I mean, this is the standard way things are moving. I mean, I recognized early on it was more commercial to Christmas than any type of religion, though the Christians, they have latched on to that little aspect, you know, that it's supposed to be the birth of Christ type stuff, but really the whole thing is about buying gifts and getting gifts. There's nothing too religious about that unless your God is the almighty dollar, which of course maybe that might be a true statement here in the States, but certainly, you know, we are dealing with, you know, we're not dealing with a religious holiday anymore. Our U.S. version of Santa Claus is actually part of an advertisement by the Coca-Cola company, you know, so it's all everything, pretty much everything that we have, you know, at least when I grew up in Christmas, everything's been pretty much a part of one big commercial to buy.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to go into a lot of this later on in the show, so I didn't want to spend too much time here and just repeat myself. But I find it interesting that Harris just released a poll in the last couple of days that shows that even more Americans are rejecting religion. I think that's up to like 28% of people who are saying they are not religious, not who are saying they're not part of any organized religion. We're talking about people who are saying they are not religious at all. 28% of the population. And I think the whole reason that the Christians are really clinging to Christmas is because they're losing across the board everywhere else. Every church out there is losing members. More and more people are rejecting Christianity. And they gotta cling to something. That's why Bill O'Reilly does his annual War on Christmas. Because it's something that they can rally the troops around. But they're losing there too.
Well, see, I think probably like with a Bill O'Reilly, you know, the ignorance that comes out. I mean, anything Fox News, I mean, to me is very, condescending. I think we're going to get into some other along this lines, but some of the stories that's come out during this campaign to save Christmas or to report on this war on Christmas. I mean, it's really falling back to this basic stupid old, pig ignorance that seems to permeate these ultra conservative types, and certainly anybody who agrees or likes to get their news from Fox. They're getting this really bullshit version of what Christmas is and what really is going on in this so-called war that in a lot of cases, apparently Fox has been making some of these stories up or embellishing stories to make it sound worse than they really are. So hopefully with the stupid repeating of the same stupid crap is turning people off and saying, I don't want to identify with these people anymore because they're ignorant, I mean, we would call them hillbillies. We'd call them rednecks and hillbillies, and smart people will recognize that, I would hope.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know that smart people really do recognize that. Because there's an awful lot of people who are out there supremely convinced that there is some kind of a war on Christmas, that Christmas is a Christian holiday, and all this other nonsense. These are people who don't live in reality. These are people who don't live in the same world as sane people. And I don't know what else we can say about them, to be really honest, because these people are just out of their frickin' gourds.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the fence sitters are recognizing that these people are certifiably insane, nuts, paranoid. I mean, I'm going to lean on the paranoia thing probably more than anything because, these people are afraid that, I think they're paranoid that this is part of some vast conspiracy. I wish I had more information. There's a lot of, definitely sounds like a lot of racist talk, especially what's her name, Megan whatever, arguing about Jesus being white and Santa Claus being white and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's talk like that should say, well, wait a minute. If you really understood Jesus was a Jew from the Middle East, he's not, this white Protestant type from, the United States, he could very well be, or at least a mix, type of thing. And it bothers the Christians that they think Jesus is white. And then on the other hand, you got the people is like, oh, these people get freaking out over that. What's wrong with Jesus being black? I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem. It kind of the leaning that there probably was a Jesus, but not this miracle son of God stuff. There may have actually been a guy either named Jesus or he's representative. It's kind of like the founding fathers. There's the men who wrote the Declaration of Independence, who put together the Constitution, but then there's the myth that gets built up around them. I would be very comfortable that there was a guy named Jesus running around Galilee and, in the 30 AD, but was he the son of God and, that type of stuff that they've pinned to him? I highly doubt. I think there might have been someone, and that's, I'm cool with that. There might be actually, maybe we can find some kind of history on it. Maybe find something more about it, but certainly to tear down the idea that you're tearing down the myth and reducing them to human, it bothers so many people. But then, I think intelligent people will recognize, well, yeah, he's from the Middle East. He's probably got Jewish features. Oh, he was a Jew. That's one thing, that Christ was a Jew.
Yeah, but they don't want to admit that.
Right. But, but anyhow, it's like that, when people see, that they won't recognize that he's Jewish, he may have some, color, he might be of color. He may not even have did these miracles. That bothers the Christians. especially the more hardcore versions. And when they see people complain, see like a Fox News and these people saying, oh, no, that can't be true. It's like, if you're holding a little bit of skepticism and maybe some critical thinking, it's like, well, wait a minute. These guys are talking bullshit, so that's pushing enough people away. They don't want to associate with a bunch of redneck, racist Bible thumpers.
I wouldn't put it past any of these religious fucks. They're not rational people to begin with. I had a whole long debate today on Twitter, and I know I keep saying I'm not going to do that anymore, but, I was just kind of hanging out. And these idiots, they were going, well, Jesus is real. God is real. Prove it. Well, Jesus is real. God is prove it. Where's your evidence? Well, Jesus, and all they can do is just keep repeating the same shit over and over and over because they can't even consider the possibility that they're wrong or that they have to back up anything that they say. And at the very end, I'm going, do you guys have any evidence? Well, Jesus is real. It's like,
Right.
you guys are just pathetic losers. You're claiming that you have experiences with Jesus. Well, how do you know it was Jesus? It's always one of those good questions to ask them. How do you know it wasn't the devil of some other pantheon sent to convince you to follow the wrong God? How do you actually come to this conclusion? Where's your evidence? Why should you not believe this? Because I'll tell you, the Hindus are saying the same damn thing about their gods. And the Muslims are saying the same damn thing about their God. And every religion out there is saying the same damn thing about their God. And you are rejecting all of their gods while saying the same damn thing about your God. For somebody who's an outsider like we are, why do you think that everybody saying the same damn thing is going to convince anybody that you're actually right? And these people can't even ask those questions. They don't have the ability to even think along those lines.
Right. Yeah, and when they espouse their beliefs, and they argue with with a Cephas online or whatever, and people can watch it and saying, and I'm just hoping that when people question these people, and then they start realizing, well, they're not making any argument. They're stating fact for fact's sake. Not fact for fact's sake, but they're saying it, that they're taking so much on faith and realizing that there's nothing behind it. The only thing that's holding them to a religion is faith. There's no logic behind it. There's no reason. There's no evidence, no anything. It's just, pure faith in that Bible and faith in that vision or whatever, the hallucination they had that makes it seem like Jesus is real. And I'm hoping that people are looking at it that way and saying, oh, wait a minute, that's fucked up. That's not a way to think. I think I've said it before. If Jesus did show up today, came in here and said, hey, Mike, how you doing? And I go, hey, come here. I'm talking to Cephas. You want to talk to the guy? Let's go visit him, type of thing, I want physical proof. I want real, tangible, something, you can hang your hat on, not this, well, you gotta have faith or you gotta have, you have to be touched in whatever way or whatever it is.
Oh, these people are touched, all right.
Well, yeah, they're touched, and they've been doing some touching inappropriately, so until they can get past this, this fantasy, don't sell me on the faith part. I need more than just to take it on faith. I don't take science on faith. Maybe in a way I do because I'm not, an expert in these fields, but I'll look at it. And I could say, okay, I'm comfortable with that. I think that sounds good. I'm good with that. I couldn't really dissect it or whatever, but you know what? I'm kind of good, but it's still, if the data looks good, if the research is done right, I'm pretty comfortable with the conclusion out of science. They can't do that with religion.
Yeah.
It seems to be all centered upon faith. You have to have faith in the Bible. You have to have faith in Jesus was real, God's real, and that the pastor is being truthful to you type of thing. You're putting your faith in all sorts of things. You're not basing that, it's all based on faith, not fact.
Yeah. Well, when people say, well, you have faith in science, no, I don't. Because I can, theoretically at least, go out, get a fucking degree in whatever branch of science you're talking about, and I can examine all of those evidence, I can perform all of those experiments, I can do all these things, and come to the same conclusion on my own. Where can you do that with religion? You can't. You cannot perform any kind of objective experiment and come up with God. You have to just have this blind, stupid faith that this thing that you have no evidence for whatsoever is actually true because it makes you feel good to think that it is. That's not faith, that's fanaticism, and it's not something anybody ought to be proud of. That's something you ought to be ashamed of. If that's all you got, you ought to be frickin' ashamed of yourself and your religious beliefs because you're a moron. But these people are happy to be morons. I'm really tired of that kind of crap.
Yeah. I would imagine there's people out there who can accept, hey, okay, I have faith in this. There's those who are just they're so deluded that they will try to make logical arguments.
No, they don't.
Well, they believe that they're making, let's put it this way. They believe that they're making logical arguments and that you can't understand those arguments And that's because their faith tells them, hey, this is the truth. And, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, it's the same way the guys who are out there going, Bigfoot's out there, and they try to make quote unquote logical arguments, but they don't understand logic.
Right.
They're
Or
making
evidence.
they're making these claims, and they don't understand what constitutes evidence, what constitutes logic, what constitutes reason. They're just making these claims and then going, oh, well, because I can make these claims, therefore, I must have a good argument. Well, no, that's not the way that it works. I'm sorry.
I can go back to the Drake equation where it's supposedly, it's not really been a proven equation, but it's been this basis for a lot of the UFO stuff where, potentially, if there's X number of stars, X number, whatever, and you go through that whole thing and you come up with a kind of a rough number of stars that may have life on it. Then they make the jump. Well, see, if these planets these planets have life on it, that means one of these has to be able to travel and visited the Earth. No. That's not necessarily, you're making too much of a leap. You gotta go, well, how did they get here? How, whatever. There's a few more steps in there you're gonna have to figure out before you can actually say, well then, yes, we're being visited. But really, it's for us to say that we're being visited, it's gonna take an alien to land in Washington DC somewhere and come out and say, hello, we're from Vulcan,
Nanu, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Christians do the exact same thing. I see this a lot, is they'll go, is it at all in any conceivable possible way possible that God exists, or that any God exists? And you say, okay, yeah, in the most extreme possibilities, yes, it is possible that some kind of a God exists. And they'll go, okay, well then you've just proven my God exists. Wait a minute, what? What?
Right. I wonder how you could do it, to say that there might be a God. That how would you even? I can't even think of how you would try to prove a God other than it always seems to be that, well, you got to have kind of question you got to have to at least say that there's a possibility of God, and I can't even think of that either. But and that for me is what kills the deal with anything that God actually exists. Because there's no way I can come up with a reason that a God can exist. We can look at human psychology and our need for whatever, to answer questions that we can't answer. Okay, I'm good with that, but that still doesn't connect to that there's an actual ethereal being or, transdimensional, whatever this God has to be.
Yeah, well, all they would have to do is actually be able to define it in a rational manner, which of course they never do. And
Right.
Then we're going to take the characteristics that they think this God has and we're going to test them. And if the characteristics don't test out, the God doesn't exist. It's that easy.
Right. Well, if you're doing it scientifically, then you tell them to go back to the drawing board and say, well, you got to come up with something else because we can't test it or we can't do this, we can't figure this out. If you still believe in God, come up with another hypothesis, and keep going. Okay, we can't do it this way. Well, let's try this way. If we can't do it that way, we'll do it the next way. That's how science does it, but they won't even do that. It's like, well, my proof is because we have a Bible and people believe it. That's proof of God. It's like, no, it's not. That's not how it works.
Yeah, well.
But that's them.
Yeah, these are people with no grasp on reality.
Yeah.
But I think we've wandered quite a bit here.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
All right, well, let's do another one.
Westchester County Police are looking for 2 suspects accused of arson as the controversy surrounding a Christmas billboard continues. Police in Pittman say the suspects tried to burn down a billboard that was put up by atheists. The sign is protesting another banner in the town that says, quote, "Keep Christ in Christmas." The atheist sign didn't burn, but police say its steel support beams were charred. Now they're offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
Hey, it's that Christian love on display again as 2 yahoos in a pickup truck tried to light an atheist billboard in Pittman, New Jersey on fire. The sign, which read, "Keep the Saturn and Saturnalia," is in response to another billboard that reads, "Keep the Christ in Christmas." And it was paid for by the Freedom from Religion Foundation. The 2 idiots in the pickup lit a fire, which charred the steel support beams, but otherwise did no damage. FFRF is offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the suspects. Apparently these fucks did not know steel doesn't burn.
Amongst other things.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Committing vandalism. I thought this ended with the, I want to say it hasn't ended though. I mean, this goes to burning churches, attacking abortion clinics, you name it. I mean, this is about as redneck as it gets, I mean, I'm surprised they weren't up there with spray cans, spray painting their girlfriend's name over the top of it, type of thing, Usually I would think, where's this at? Oh, it's in New Jersey, so it's not as,
they're just as stupid. But
they're just as stupid.
I mean, what is it about Christians? And we gotta assume that these people are acting out of their religious beliefs because it really doesn't make sense for them to vandalize this sign otherwise. We don't know for sure they're Christians, but likely they are. But why are they so quick to resort to violence and the destruction of private property? And like you said, these are the same people who go out there and blow up abortion clinics and shoot doctors and hit Salvation Army workers and do all this crap because somehow their imaginary friends get slighted. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Again, this is violence for violence sake. I mean,
the Muslims do the same damn thing, but in this country, it's the Christians who are acting wingnut insane and antisocial. What the hell is wrong with you people? Can any Christian out there listening come and explain to me why you think you have the right to go out and attack somebody, harm people, destroy property because your beliefs, you're somehow unhappy about your beliefs? What the fuck?
Right. And what? I bet you if they did catch these guys, they'd be the first people to say that, we have a First Amendment free speech in this country. It's like.
But it's only for Christians.
Yeah. And.
Apparently the FFRF does not have the right to free speech. Or put up their own sign,
Right. I mean, they'll be the first people they'll say, well, we gotta, the freedom of religion, free speech, all that kind of stuff. And this is us. And I wouldn't even be surprised if that's the tactic if they ever did get caught and have to be drug into court. I mean, I don't know how much damage a sign, maybe, probably depends, but that could be like 10,000, maybe 20,000 damage, not a lot. But they'll be in there and they'll argue, well, they were exercising their free speech and their right to religion and all that kind of crap, and that's the insane part about it is that's what they'll do and that's what they believe. Hey, they may even try to claim that they're provoked into doing this. Of course, I doubt very much that, any redneck would understand what Saturn and Saturnalia stands for, but,
it ain't all God, so, it gotta be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like this whole stupid Duck Dynasty crap. All right. First off, what imbecile watches this stupid show to begin with? All right. What idiot would watch this show regardless? But this whole thing, there's so many damn Christians out there going, these people have a right to free speech. Well, yeah, they do. Nobody's stopping them from being a bunch of homophobic assholes. But you want to know what they don't have? They don't have a right to freedom from consequences. You open your mouth, go for it. But that doesn't mean that you can't be held accountable for what comes out of your mouth. That doesn't mean that A&E, in theory, has to allow you to, make their network look bad. And we'll be real honest, A&E set this whole damn thing up. It's a ratings gimmick. That's all it is.
Well, if it's a ratings gimmick, it backfired on them a little bit because they lost 2 million viewers.
It'll come right back. It always does. This happens all the damn time. Every time you have one of these idiot quote unquote celebrities coming out and saying something stupid, you create this giant controversy and they come back and have more people watching than ever.
I'm kind of curious because they did get a hit, a 2 million listener or 2 million watcher hit. I think they even dropped quite a bit on their ratings, but then they were going right into that, a Christmas marathon. Does it only get like 8 million viewers?
I don't know. I've never seen the show. I will never watch it.
Well, I was reading some of the articles because it was like they had 8 million after the interview. It went down to 6.2 million. But that's as far as it, I mean, I don't know if it rebounded or anything like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where to find that out. But
I don't know and I don't care, but let's be honest, alright? This is the time of year where nobody watches TV anyway. Who cares? It's not like this is sweeps month.
Right.
You know, in another 2 or 3 months when the February sweeps roll around, he'll be back on the show and they'll have more watchers than ever because people want to watch to see what stupid shit he's going to say. Why do you think they did this? I mean, let's be honest. These stupid rednecks are invented for the show anywhere. There's pictures out there of them before the show. These are all yuppies. Clean shaven, turtlenecks, the whole 9 yards, with families and all that stuff, and they get into these fucking costumes with beards and shit for the show. This is not reality. There's no reality in this. There's as much reality in this show as there is in Christianity.
Yeah. Well, any of these, I think I mentioned a while ago, there was there's that Storage Wars. It's like the same bunch. They go to they buy the storage units that have been in default. They buy them, and one of the guys had came out and said that the show's rigged. That they purposely put valuable stuff in the piles after they buy the units to make it look exciting. I can't imagine somebody putting $10,000 worth of something out in a storage unit like that and then not pay for it, you know. And this guy came out and says that's what they do. They go through, they buy the units. They open it up. They throw something of value in there and they just happen to find it. You know, they dig through and they find it and it's all rigged. And I've noticed that I get suckered into watching Pawn Stars and I do like, Hell's Kitchen. But I do notice that there's a lot of similarities from season to season and like with Hell's Kitchen, it's like, you know, like these people who are on the show are fans of Gordon Ramsay. But if you're a fan and you've watched this show, don't you realize that this guy freaks out every time you undercook chicken and you do, you know, there's these things that they do that they know that he gets pissed off about, but they go ahead and do it anyhow. And, so I'm thinking there's gotta be some kind of, like they're being coached to do, here, don't worry, do this, you know, get yelled at by Ramsay, you know, so there's like I'm almost convinced that there's some setups in those shows. Cause that's what I like. I like watching Ramsay yell at these chefs. I'm sorry. That's my thing.
Well, we know that all of these shows they're all fixed. Pawn Stars. We know for a fact that the producers will stop people coming into the pawn shop and give them something to take in. And they will coach them. We know that these shows have read-throughs. This is not live TV. This is not instantaneous. This is not spontaneous. This is people reading scripts. That's all it is. And if you believe any of this shit, you're an idiot. It's all fixed. But then again, you know, the Christians are just as bad. You know? It's set up to appeal to stupid people. You know, I don't know how better to say it. It's, you know, it's like, American Chopper or whatever way back when. Every fight on that damn show was scripted.
Yeah, definitely.
Alright, well let's go ahead and finish up.
Okay. Does Christmas destroy wealth? I have to admit, this just caught my attention. And this seems to be I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the argument is with this thing. This comes from Forbes. I'm trying to figure out, I think this might even be just a blog thing on Forbes. It starts off, usually the so-called war on Christmas is cast in culture terms. Is it, for instance, really a war on Christians? I have it on good authority from one writer friend who's doing the research that Christmas is actually holding its own, or at least as a publicly acknowledged holiday. And in my own experience, wishings of Merry Christmas are on a sustained upswing. There really does seem to be a difference from the two touchy times to even 5 years ago. But setting all that aside, there's an interesting case to be made that at least in some significant part of the Christmas season, it's more akin to economic conflict or to the economic costs of war. Usually we think of materialism or commercialism as a force powerful enough to secularize Christmas because of the great earthly benefits and pleasures it provides us and our economy. And then it goes into these, some kind of a Twitter thing, and does Christmas destroy wealth? And I'm like, this might even be better for a main event type talk because it seems to me that Christmas is a way for people to make money. You know,
Well, that's all it ever is.
Yeah. But does it destroy? I mean, I don't understand that.
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, the Christians are too late. Christmas has already been secularized. Materialism and consumerism already won. Guys, give up. You lost. Long time ago. I don't get where he's coming from either, where he says it destroys wealth. I mean, the whole setup of Christmas is about making money. You know, they call it Black Friday for a reason, because it's the day traditional retailers start making money for the year. And a good Christmas season can make or break a business, especially an online retailer.
I mean, it's clear to me that from Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving.
And it's not even Thanksgiving anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I know, the traditional season, but it's being pushed back. Soon at Halloween we'll be getting bombarded, but from that time from after Thanksgiving to literally Christmas Eve or even Christmas Day, there's people out there. I mean, they're going online and buying, they're going to the stores. We ranted about the nutcases, how nuts it gets sometimes just trying to get to these stores. And I've seen some numbers, $200 to $2,000 people will spend on Christmas, maybe even more. I mean, it sounds like these were averages. I mean, I imagine people spending even a lot more on Christmas gifts, but I mean, definitely, and everything seems to be geared to getting you into a store, buying what you're looking for, and hopefully then hooking you on some extra stuff while you're in the store. I mean, Walmart, I mean, they're dragging you in on the really cheapest stuff. Big screen TV, $100. Everybody's there trying to, they're climbing over and killing each other to get at these $100 TVs. And as they're walking out, oh, I can use that and I can use that. It's all the idea, get you into the stores, get you buying, and then come out ahead, I mean, it's definitely wealth creating, and it's certainly structured around that. So, I mean, again, that's why this article kind of popped up, and I thought maybe this would be worth, a little bit of examination, or at least maybe clarify it for me. How do you come up with this?
Maybe he's talking about it's destroying the wealth of all the people who are out there buying crap. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think, but.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're looking at like Christmas advertising encourages people to spend, generating absurd credit card debt, giving cars and jewelry. I mean, just in the last couple of days on TV, and I don't watch much TV, broadcast, cable, whatever, but the number of commercials out there that are just saying, Christmas is here, go spend a shitload of money. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of people who are buying things they cannot afford. And that happens every damn time. Well, that's a lack of responsibility. That's not the fault of Christmas. But these retailers are just raking it in. I don't see where they're losing their wealth. I mean, this is the time of year. If it wasn't for Christmas at the end of the year, most of these companies would go out of business because they're all running in the red all year long.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I'm even floored. I mean, I had to get an oil change for the rental. It was due for an oil change. So I was trying to get into Firestone, and they were having a Black Friday deal on tires and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's not, it isn't even about getting gifts for Christmas. It's about saving effing money, which is cool. I mean, I'm not opposed to, getting a good deal on something, but you know what? It's almost like Christmas is just, I don't know, a marker, a marking time.
Yeah.
So now you go in, you get stuff that is not even Christmas. I can almost see maybe somebody buying specialty tires for their kids' hot rod or something like that. But, to go in and have your, getting new tires on your car for, you kind of need it. And, it's something that you kind of need to drive safely. And,
but these people, they figure as long as you got your credit card out, let's see what else we can get you to buy.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's just that, it's that connection, people just to take advantage. I mean, President's Day sales. I mean, there's all through the year. I mean, Super Bowl sales, all that kind of stuff. It's like, get them into the stores, come in, get your stuff for, Super Bowl weekend. And hopefully while you're in there, oh, I need this, the extra stuff. That's all it is. And I don't think it really has anything to do with the holidays. It's just an opportunity. And since Christmas is kind of this gift giving holiday, everyone's got their pocket, their wallets and their purses and their credit cards out, let's drag them in, get them in here.
Yeah.
So get them to spend the money.
Yeah. Nobody's losing any money except for the people who are stupid and probably deserve it anyway.
Right. I mean, I don't know. It's that insanity. And then I think, at least from the Christian side, aren't they recognizing this? You know, I mean, I think they should be mad that their beautiful religious holiday is really just a marker for a major sales event. You know, it's not, no one really looks at it as a religion. It's just a chance of making a few extra bucks.
Yeah, but that goes right to pointing out that Christians only recognize the things that they want to recognize anyway. They're blinded to everything else. They don't see it as a giant commercial holiday. They don't see it as a secular holiday that, is just about buying and selling crap. They want to believe it's their religious holiday. So that's the only thing they see. Same thing if you ever debate theists. They will never see anything that you say about evidence, about rationalism, reason, anything else. All they're going to see is, this is what makes me feel good, so therefore this has got to be true. And they're totally blinded by anything else. So, I don't know. Are they just stupid or what?
I think you just said it. They're just stupid. I mean,
they're just out of their minds. I don't know. Yeah. And you can sit there and you can continually point out this stuff to them and they're just oblivious. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. It's since I started doing this show, I mean, I've actually done some rethinking of some stuff, so it's, why don't these people recognize certain things, that this wonderful religious holiday isn't, it really is one big advertisement, I've stated before, it seems like everything about this holiday is something commercial related. And if it isn't, Coca-Cola and it's Santa Claus, I don't know where Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer comes from. There's the old traditional, poem about Santa Claus, but then all of a sudden you gotta now add in Rudolph. I apparently so they can do a cartoon so that they can put it on TV, get the kids to watch, and then put commercials on there so they make the parents buy, or whatever. I mean, everything seems to be all driven by some type of advertisement or at least just a way to get you into a store to spend money. And that's not important to these, these religious types. I mean, I think they should be up in arms over this, but they're not. They're over the fact that, somehow this is an attack on their religion.
They only think in terms of their religion. They can't think of anything else. Everything is their religion. Their entire lives are their religion. They have nothing else in their lives except their religion. And I think that's really why it all falls apart, is because they don't understand that there's more to life than their religious beliefs. They're fanatical, and fanatical people have problems.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's a good segue into our main event, so let's go ahead and go there.
This is the main event.
With the war on Christmas furor winding down, let's handle the other oft-claimed nugget of joy that atheists cannot celebrate Christmas because it's a religious holiday. Nothing could be further from the truth. Christianity stole the Christmas holiday from the ancient Romans, who were celebrating Saturnalia, a feast of debauchery and gluttony. The early Catholics declared that the last day of Saturnalia, December 25th, was to be celebrated as the birthday of Jesus, even though the Bible makes it very clear that Jesus of the Christian myth was born sometime in the spring. They did so in an attempt to convert the Romans, who really didn't care as long as they could get drunk and sleep around during the celebration. It's clear that things haven't gotten any better since then, and that Christmas, no matter what the intent of the Christians, simply is not a Christian holiday, and it really hasn't been for a very, very, very long time. It's blatantly obvious. Why don't they see this?
Well, we just went through all that. It's through the commercialism and all that kind of stuff. I mean, when I was younger and still believed in Santa and all that kind of stuff, it was like, we get the Sears catalog, and I mean, if you remember those.
Yeah.
I want that, this is the kind of stuff we wanted. And, there was this see Santa Claus at the shop, Sears stores stood alone. They didn't have to have malls attached to them. But it was all still, just a big commercial venture to get us to, buy. And, getting back to kind of back on subject, the Christian religion, it took over a lot of these pagan various celebrations and so on, mainly because, at least at the time, it seemed okay to when you're doing these conversion, trying to convert people to Christianity, it's like, oh, it's okay, you celebrate this. Yeah, we kind of go along, and they took over Saturnalia. What some of the others? There's, I don't know if New Year's was, or was it April Fool's, Easter? I'm trying to think of other religious or
pretty much every religious holiday out there they stole from somebody.
Yeah, and adopted the parts that fit with the culture that they had assimilated. It's like the Borg, they assimilate these new cultures into their collective, and then of course they adopt the good stuff, and they would eventually throw out the other stuff, and next thing you know, Saturnalia turns into Christmas. Whatever holidays, this whole thing. So it's, these holidays in of themselves are not, not necessarily Christian in origin.
Well, they're not Christian in origin. They've never been Christian in fact. There's so many damn abuses that have gone along with it. I mean, I did a blog post that's gonna post on Christmas Day where you had fucking Catholic popes out there having Jew races through the streets of Rome.
Yeah.
On Christmas. Because they were trying to punish the Jews for not believing in Jesus. And then, that's about as close as you ever get to Christianity being part of Christmas.
Yeah.
This whole thing actually came up over a discussion over on the Atheist Revolution blog, where he pointed out a bunch of statistics that I just don't think are defensible. Like he said that according to a survey, the majority of Americans said they were going to go to church on Christmas Eve. Well, that's great. They can say anything they want. I want to see the statistics that show how many actually went to church on Christmas Eve. And I'll bet you anything that it's not nearly as many people who said they were going to. Because Christianity is more of a social thing anymore than it is a religious thing. People say whatever they think will make them look good to the neighbors, not so much that what's actually going to happen. So I'm willing to bet very, very few people are actually going to go to church on Christmas Eve. Go to any store out there and you're going to find the vast majority of decorations that are secular. How many nativity scenes are you going to see in a store? Virtually none. But you're going to get Christmas trees, wreaths, mistletoe, presents, Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, all this stuff that's 100% secular. Matt Dillahunty of the Atheist Experience, he went out and did an informal survey of the local homes in Austin, Texas, and found that 0.2% of decorated homes in his area had any kind of religious symbolism at all. Now, somebody suggested that maybe Austin, being a very liberal place, is not the best place to do that. So I went out over this last weekend and I did my own survey. And I live in a very religious area, and I found very, very similar results. I counted 92 homes in my area that had decorations, lights, whatever out. Of those, only 4 had any religious symbology. And actually, only 2 of them actually had nativity scenes. There are 2 others that I thought you could probably interpret religiously, but they weren't overtly religiously. So 4 out of 92. Is that supposed to be a majority religious holiday? I don't think so. Where the hell?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because actually in my neighborhood there's not too many. I mean, it's an older crowd, so it's kind of tough for them to get outside to hang lights. And I don't put out lights. And actually I think this is like maybe the first year I didn't put up I got this little Christmas tree thing I've got lights on, but even this year I don't think I put it. No, even last year I don't think it was out. But anyhow, yeah, it's other than when I was younger and, we did end up in church. And we get a good crowd. I mean, it was usually a standing room only. I forget how many. There might be like room for 100 people, maybe 200. So they might get like 300 people in this little church. I don't know what it's like now, but I don't think I've set foot in a church in, God, it's gotta be 10 years, maybe 20 years. It was one of my brother's last weddings. I don't think anyone even say what the meaning of Christmas is. I mean, it's, it is really just a way we get together. It's an excuse to get together with family. I mean, that's one thing we do, the one tradition we do keep, is I'll be over at my brother's tomorrow night, and, it's just a way, everyone get together, and, the kids get their gifts, and, everything's good, and nothing really religious about it anymore. And I think I still got one brother who does want to do a grace at Christmas, but during the rest of the year, I don't think he's ever done it. It's very little we've done, anything religious, and that's been like over 20 years. You know?
Well, I mean, even according to a recent Pew study, only 11% of people surveyed reported the importance of religious activities around Christmas. 69% of people reported time with friends and family to be the most important thing to them. There's no reason to think that this is even a remotely religious holiday. It's more like it's a holiday that people may do something religious on, but the holiday itself really isn't religious.
Right. I gotta say, yeah. I mean, maybe back in the 50s it might have had something, but even that, I'm very hard pressed to think it was that the religious aspect of Christmas. Because I think, well, I don't know, but when I was growing up, it was grandparents showing up. It was just a way for, it was really just an excuse for all the family to get together. Yeah, I can't think of anything, overtly religious, even from history. It is always Christmas morning, open gifts, Christmas afternoon, Christmas dinner. Everybody and everyone got together. I know with, when I still had grandparents, I mean, those houses would be so packed full of relatives and people we haven't seen in ages. And I mean, it was fun, but nothing ever came up anything religious about it other than maybe maybe some movie on TV or something like that. Like Ben-Hur or whatever the movie, that had some kind of a religion to it. That was it.
But you notice that even the most recent movies that come out, they're not religious. The Christmas movies that come out today are not religious. None of them are. You go back to like It's a Wonderful Life and things like that. Those all have some religious themes back in the 40s and 50s. Today, not a goddamn thing. There is no religious movie coming out at all for Christmas. You watch on TV, I don't even think they show Little Drummer Boy anymore. Or Nestor the Christmas Donkey or whatever the fuck that was.
Right.
I got those on DVD because they're cool Rankin Bass movies, but I don't think they even show those anymore. But you got these religious fucks who are out there going, it's our holiday. Well, prove it. Show us where it's your holiday. Yeah, it's got Christ in the damn name. Who cares? There's no overtly religious anything to this holiday anymore and hasn't been for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. I don't think you can even go back 100 years and find much that was really overtly religious in this holiday. It's become completely secular. And that's why atheists should have no problem whatsoever celebrating it.
Yeah, no, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, it is family. I mean, family getting together. And quite frankly, I mean, if the Christians have issues with, they seem to think the war on the family, once we get past this war on Christmas, then it's going to go back to the war on the family with with gays allowed to, do their thing, to adopt and all that kind of stuff. Here's a holiday that families get together, all that kind of stuff. It's like, that's what it should be about. And, at least as a holiday goes, it's just really a really nice time to get together and take a few days off and visit family, either on Christmas Eve. I mean, that's what our routine is, Christmas morning. And then I go to my mom's Christmas Day, and who knows, maybe a weekend or so, we might go visit other family members or, kind of, get-togethers and stuff like that. But, that's all it really is. And trying to pin a religion to it, it's like, it really doesn't work. But then they only argue the fact that we're trying to erase the birth of Christ out of this, that's their only thing that they can pin to this holiday. Or attempt to pin to this holiday. I mean.
Yeah, but it's too late. We did that decades ago. There has not been a Christ in Christmas for a long, long, long time. Now, You can go to church if you want. If that turns you on, go ahead. There was another survey, I'm trying to remember, where they said, given a choice between secular Christmas stories and reading the Jesus story in the Bible, how many people did either one? And it was like 5% read the fucking Jesus story. Everybody else was doing secular shit.
Right.
Guys, you've lost. It's not like you're fighting this war and you're still winning, but you're losing ground. You're not even in the running anymore. You're so far in the past. What the hell's wrong with you people? You know? You think this is a religious holiday? Produce your evidence. Where is it? But of course these people don't understand evidence. They think that just making shit up and saying crap is all they need to do to be right. And it's no wonder they're so fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes back to that. They're not getting it. Or maybe they are, and they're just, like, again, it's a backlash against, or at least an excuse to have a backlash against the atheists and the secularists, humanists, whatever. Their war against us is, you know, we're the ones that are the problem. Well, no, the problem is you really don't have a holiday here, and you've actually let it be usurped by the commercialism and all that kind of stuff.
Well, they didn't let it be. I mean, commercialism came by and said, hey, that's a nice holiday you got there, and we're going to take that over now. The Christians had no say in it. That's like saying, I don't get why they don't run around and go, there's a war on Easter. Well, no, there isn't. That's another holiday you guys ripped off from the pagans, and that has been taken over by secular society, and that's why we have eggs and Peter Cottontail and all this other crap. There's no religion in that. Nobody celebrates Easter religiously. Yeah, a couple people go to fucking church. Okay, but that doesn't make the holiday religious. That means what you do is religious. Okay, but I bet you come home and you eat that big breakfast and you go hunt for eggs, and that's not religious. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's the trappings, you know, the Palm Sunday, the, you know, whatever, all that stuff that, is it Fat Tuesday, then you start your fasting Wednesday.
Oh, I bet these people don't fast. Most of these people are fat asses anyway.
Yeah, and, yeah, you're not supposed to eat meat on Fridays. Of course, I think that kind of went away with some rule changes, but there's that part. But you know what? When Easter comes around, it's chocolate bunnies and the Easter egg hunts and the Easter baskets and so on, and the Peter Cottontail movies and that kind of stuff. Same difference, it's if Christmas was this religious thing, an actual religious holiday, there would be a lot more religion involved with it in the traditions that go with it.
Yeah. I mean, especially if we're supposed to believe that 80 to 85% of the country is Christian, there should be a lot more Christianity in this Christian holiday. There isn't.
Right.
So I don't know what else to say on that, because it's just so blatant. It's blatantly ridiculous what they claim. And you point out the facts to them, and they just keep claiming the same crap over and over and over, because they're not interested in reality. They're living in this little religious fantasy land.
Pretty much. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. They've deluded themselves. I mean, I think we've beaten it to death that this is a commercial. Christmas has become a commercial venture. Has nothing to do with, I mean, you may go find yourself in a church. You may, I don't know what else. I think it's about all you do is you show up for midnight mass, welcome in the, I think like 11:30 you showed up at church at night, and then at midnight they did something, and that was it. That's the religious aspect of, that's the only religious part I remember from growing up. I mean, then it's toys, watch the football game in the afternoon after pigging out on, this huge dinner that Ma and the grandmas put together,
Yeah. But I don't see that as a religious celebration. I see that as a secular celebration into which you are inserting some small amount of religion.
Right. That was it. I mean, that's the thing. It's everything about the holiday was, the toys, the gifts, the feast, the football game, or whatever sports was on. I think football is pretty much a tradition, here in the States, as the, for the holidays, or college bowl game, or whatever's going on. So, but yeah, and then the only thing was religious, and I hardly ever went to the midnight masses anyhow. I think I only made maybe 4 or 5 of them, but that was the only religious aspect. And even there, I don't even think they even really talked about Christmas in itself. It's just the birth of Christ, so it wasn't like, even the church I went to, they never linked the birth of Christ and Christmas, in a way. So that was,
Yeah, well, because it's ridiculous anyway, because even the Bible says that Jesus wasn't born at Christmas, so what kind of a fucking stupid idea is that?
Right.
Well, I don't know. I think, we probably beat that to death, and we got a lot to do for Christmas anyway. We have families to go be with, so we should probably just have a little shorter show this week and let people go do their thing.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Ho, 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 and there you go. Another show in the can with visions of sugar plums and all that stuff. Thanks for listening. We know that time during the holidays is at a premium, and we appreciate spending a little bit of that precious time with you. Don't forget, next week is our New Year's show, and we need your resolutions. Get them to our email box as soon as you can. The cutoff is Monday, December 30th. And don't forget that the show is available on Facebook, Google+, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Twitter, and our very own little corner of the net where you can get links to all of our news stories. Hope everybody has a great Christmas, and we'll see you again right after the New Year. Take care.
Festivus for the rest of us.
I wrote a Christmas song when my daughter was born, and I live in London and I come from Australia, so it's a bit about, being not where you feel like you should be when you have a tiny baby. And Christmas and stuff. I'm looking forward to Christmas. It's sentimental, I know, but I just really like it. I'm hardly religious. I'd rather break bread with Dawkins than Desmond to be honest. And yes, I have all of the usual objections to consumerism, to the commercialization of an ancient religion, to the westernization of a dead Palestinian press ganged into selling PlayStations and beer. But I still really like it. I'm looking forward to Christmas, though I'm not expecting a visit from Jesus. I'll be seeing my dad, my brother and sisters, my gran and my mum. They'll be drinking white wine in the sun. I don't go in for ancient wisdom. I don't believe just 'cause ideas are tenacious, it means that they're worthy. I get freaked out by churches. Some of the hymns that they sing have nice chords, but the lyrics are dodgy. And yes, I have all of the usual objections to the miseducation of children who in tax-exempt institutions are taught to externalize blame and to feel ashamed and to judge things as plain right or wrong. But I quite like the songs. I'm not expecting big presents. The old combination of socks, jocks, and chocolates is just fine by me. 'Cause I'll be seeing my dad, my brother and sisters, my gran and my mum. They'll be drinking white wine in the sun. I'll be seeing my dad, my brother and sisters, my gran and my mum. They'll be drinking white wine in the sun. And you, my baby girl, my jet-lagged infant daughter, you'll be handed round the room like a puppy at a primary school, and you won't understand. But you will learn someday that wherever you are and whatever you face, these are the people who make you feel safe in this world. My sweet blue-eyed girl. And if my baby girl, when you're 21 or 31 and Christmas comes around and you find yourself 9,000 miles from home, you'll know whatever comes. Your brothers and sisters and me and your mom will be waiting for you in the sun when Christmas comes. Your brothers and sisters, your aunts and your uncles, your grandparents, cousins, and me and your mom will be waiting for you in the sun, drinking white wine in the sun. Darling, when Christmas comes, we'll be waiting for you in the sun, drinking white wine in the sun, waiting for you in the sun, waiting. I really like Christmas. It's sentimental, I know.
You've been listening to the Bitchspot Report podcast with your hosts, Cephas and Mike. You can follow us on Twitter respectively at Bitchspot1 or at JDRipper1962. Please visit our website at report.jdragononline.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The B-Spot Report. We're also on Google+, iTunes, and YouTube. Those links are at our website. We'd love to hear from you. You can reach us via email at report@jdragononline.com. Comments, ideas, and suggestions are always welcome. We'll be back next week with another fun and fact-filled episode. Please tune in again.